On that subject, you mentioned Skip Townsend earlier. Can you mind expounding on your relationship with him? Because he's a staple out here on the internet, has a history of being fully founded and official, but transitioned to positivity. Y'all working to collab on anything?
Well, man, Skip got me in the local 11. He tried to get me in, him and Big John from Villain, tried to get me in to work for local 11 for electrician.
Okay.
So I took the test, did everything I had to do, passed, but my oral test, as far as my interview, wasn't that high.
Okay.
So anybody that scored higher than me, it bumps me down. Yeah, it bumps me down. So I've been on the list for a few years, just, waiting. But Skip Townsend is the type of person that try to bring people to the table. Yeah, man, that's my boy, big brother.
I like his energy, man.
And he bought me, Munchie B from Inglewood Family, Big Bandit from Inglewood Family, Tiny Nut from CPF, my homie Big Pretty Boy. We all came to the table. We ate. I did a podcast with Skip, with Munchie B. I did a podcast with my cousin, Ray Shauna, Ray, Richard Raymond's daughter. I think Skip, he's in the right direction, man. He's doing what he need to do, and he was at Money Mike funeral.
Is that right?
So I was like,
that was a couple weeks ago.
No, like last year.
Oh, last year, okay.
Something like last year. He was there, like
at your homie funeral.
Only blood there, but coexisted like he was one of us.
He should.
And I like that because that lets you know, man, I don't care about that color.
Right. What it's supposed to be about anyway. You mentioned the name Munchie B, and I'm gonna take this opportunity to get controversial. I don't know what your thoughts are gonna be, but it's a story floating around on the internet right now of him getting violated by some, I think of your homies or some homies from 40s, and he supposed to got so knocked out and disrespected. Have you ever heard of that story?
I heard of it, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it happened like that. I don't believe it, man, because...
You know Munchie B?
I wouldn't even... Listen, man. I wouldn't even broadcast no shit like that about somebody being... I've knocked the dude out and played. I wouldn't even do that, man. That, to me, that's out of pocket. That's unnatural, bro.
It's undesirable as going through that would be.
Yeah.
Once a man is unconscious, how do you hold him accountable for anything that took place? So I understand all in war if you do that, but at least I respect your perspective, and without me knowing for a fact that happened, I would rather believe it didn't. Because outside of that, I got a son from Inglewood families. I don't broadcast it. I would have, and I know a lot about the culture, the side, got a lot of allies, just friends, family. You know how this shit go out here. But I'm glad with everything else I know about him that it's somebody I respect that can make me believe that shit ain't true.
Man, that little dude is a respected guy. I respect his push. I respect his push. I respect he got his section. They look up to him. To be so young, they look up to him. You know what I'm saying? And people don't know he's a good dude. He got a good heart, man. He just believe in what he believe in. He pushed the way he pushed, like he's supposed to. He's a blood. He's from Inglewood family, so he pushed.
Respect and salute that.
So he pushed the way he pushed. He's been pushing, just like I pushed the way I pushed. You pushed the way you pushed growing up.
Right.
Your views was what it was. If you didn't like 6-0s at the time, that was your views.
Right.
I don't like 6-0s. Or I don't like Inglewood families, or I don't like Swans, or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, it's about respect.
Correct.
So I treat everybody on the individual respect on the individual basis. Not because you from Inglewood family. I don't like you but I like your push. Your individuality is cool.
Right.
And that's what I'm...
And what people don't realize when they see red, blue, and they see the coexistence, commingling, they don't realize no matter how active you were, we was forced into a system to where after the activity, it was time to learn each other man to man. And it happens, and you got a culture of blended relationships.
But guess where you learned it from? That's where you learned that from.
Mm-hmm.
Prison.
That's what I was speaking of, exactly.
Because when I came to prison,
me too.
I went to Fulton
County jail,
prison,
actually.
Bro. I went to the county. They said tripping.
But at the time when I first was coming through the county was when we was first really being outnumbered to the point where it was us against them and we were the enemies. Yeah. And so I feel you though.